I finally watched Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and I had a lot of thoughts, not just about its ending, but about the show as a whole. So let's talk about it and why Star had to destroy all magic. But before we dive into it, if you missed Star vs. the Forces of Evil, I'm happy to announce that we will be hosting a live stream interview with the cast and creator of the show, where they will be signing autographed artwork prints that you can purchase. This stream will be on Wednesday, September 21st at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Joining us in the stream will be series creator Darren Nefsey, Eden Scher, who played Star Butterfly, Adam MacArthur, who played Marco Diaz, Gray Griffin, who played Moon Butterfly and Jackie, and Esme Bianco, who played Eclipse Butterfly. We've got a lot of artwork you can purchase at the Streamly shop. Links as always are in the pinned comment down below, as well as a link to the video with even more information about the live stream, and a link to the live stream itself so you can set a reminder so you don't miss it. See you guys there, and now, on to the video. For those who don't know, Star vs. the Forces of Evil was a Disney cartoon series that ran for 4 seasons that was loosely inspired by a childhood favorite of mine, Sailor Moon. Star vs. had 2 distinct arcs, I would say. The first arc takes place across the first 2 seasons, and focuses on Star adjusting to life on Earth, as well as building up to a battle with the villain Toffee, who wishes to use her to eliminate all magic in the universe. The second arc takes place across seasons 3 and 4, which primarily deal with Star dealing with her home kingdom of Muni, and giving it back to its original ruler, Eclipse. I personally found this second arc to be more interesting, as we got to explore the world of Muni and from episode to episode really see it change and grow. Additionally, we now had Marco living in Muni instead of Earth, reversing the dynamic of the first 2 seasons where Star was the outsider living on Earth. The ending of the show was one of the most interesting to me, as it ended with Star destroying all magic, and while I felt like the show didn't get a chance to dive into all of how magic was bad, it had certainly done quite a bit, particularly in the last 2 seasons. The ultimate joke of the series is that it is premised on a girl who is 14 years old being handed a wand so powerful it could destroy the universe each generation as the royal crown is passed down. Star is noted as being particularly powerful for her age, but her ability to tap into magic is not something passed down to her through the royal line. Muni is ruled in a matriarchal way, with the queen being in charge of the kingdom and wielding the power of the wand as it's passed down. This bloodline continued until Queen Eclipse, who did marry a human, but ran away to be with a monster she had convinced to go vegetarian. By this monster man, she gave birth to Meteora Butterfly, who was deemed too controversial for the throne. Meteora was given to a robot to raise, Eclipse and her monster man were frozen, and a baby from a pie carnival was adopted in Eclipse's place to become queen, to be raised by Eclipse's husband, who otherwise had no claim to the throne either. Despite this, the line of queens would continue to flourish, with Star becoming the most powerful among them at such a young age. As the series progressed, Star would come to the realization that the Muni system was a bit corrupt, her mother included, and those they regard as monsters in the land could be just as human as the humans themselves were. The definition of what made a monster and a human largely came down to what was convenient for the throne. The result of this was countless monsters being oppressed for generations by a regime that was being led by Star's own mother at the time, Moon Butterfly. This wasn't to say that Moon was a bad ruler, but the definition of a good ruler is generally someone who takes care of their own people first, often at the expense of others, such as the monsters driven out of their lands by the human colonization. When Star had to step up and take the throne, she does her best, but ultimately decides that her mother and her are unfit to rule, and that the power should revert back to Eclipse, whose daughter Meteora had been returned to an infant state to be raised again, this time properly as a princess. Because the power of the queens was passed down through wands, most anyone could assume the throne, and even Marco can wield the wand and have it take a form particular to him. As Star learns through the series, the real issue is that the power itself is just too great for any person to wield, as it allows them to weaponize their own mistakes. When Eclipse took the throne, there was a glimmer of hope that she would restore order to the kingdom and unite humans and monsters, but the results were oddly mixed. Monsters had a bit of a better stake in things, and she worked with the humans, but she never quite seemed to win them over, nor was she trying to screw them over in particular. Moon would go off camp with her husband and find herself after Eclipse took the throne, but would quickly assume responsibility for the humans surrounding her again. Some humans seem to have issue with the integration of monsters, others seemed largely unaware of any issues that it may or may not have caused, and just hated Eclipsa as part of their personal cultural trend. Moon would begin to organize the humans into something of a mini-kingdom again, highlighting her strengths as a ruler, but she would eventually go to seize the throne by taking the wand from Eclipsa with the backing of Mina's robot suit army. At the end of the day, whether through anger or just not having the best plans, both Moon and Eclipsa made mistakes as rulers of the kingdom, and neither of them should be tasked with trying to rule Muni and control others, regardless of their birth. Both had skills they could contribute, but without the backing of the wand, neither could outweigh the other. Though the wand is powerful, these robotic suits were designed to be something the wand could not easily destroy without taking the innocence of Muni with them, making it the one thing that could get Eclipsa to hand the wand over. Mina was interested in more than just restoring Moon to the throne, however, and double-crossed her, wanting revenge against Eclipsa and her monster husband for perceived crimes against the order she's a relic from. These robots further prove to Star that power itself is no reason that anyone should rule over other people, and unfortunately, magic was the greatest power in the multiverse, the power that kept her family in charge for centuries. With that in mind, the best way to stop the robots was to destroy all magic, not just because it would destroy the robots, but because it would stop the never-ending line of villains from wielding it over to the people, allowing Muni to develop like a normal world without magic. This would lead to the death of beings who were rooted in magic, such as the Magic High Commission, though this seems to have been part of the plan for some time. Glossaric in particular seems to appreciate his position in the universe as being one of maintaining the cycle of his and magic's existence, but all as part of the long game to eventually erase magic from it. Hekapu likewise expressed how she felt magic was doing more harm than good in the long run. Her dimension was one where time passed very differently, and she herself was ageless within it, giving her a lot of time to not just exist, but to reflect on the nature of her existence and what it would mean to end it, not just for her, but for all magical beings like her. Hekapu, according to Star vs. the Forces of Evil, the Magic Book of Spells, actually pushed Festiva Butterfly to continue war with the monsters and reject a peace treaty that was available at the time, making the war with monsters continue for centuries unnecessarily. I don't imagine Hekapu is evil, but at this point I think she was part of a long con plan from Glossaric, who created her, to eventually end magic, not at the hand of Toffee, but at the hand of Star, in a way that would bring peace to the worlds. They likely saw themselves as a necessary force to establish the world as it is, but now that it was established, the world did not need more magic, and instead just needed the skills of people like Moon and Eclipsa to rule their people without trying to hurt each other's. It would seem Glossaric and Hekapu played their parts in one giant cosmic chess game to get Star to make the decision she was destined to do from the beginning of the show. As for all the other magical entities like them, I don't imagine they all died in the sense that a human, or monster would in this world. These magical beings often come with no emotions or concepts of good or evil, as Glossaric likes to claim, and the others like them exist in a similarly disconnected state from our reality, despite being physically within it. Magic itself is not from one particular dimension, but connects all dimensions, being its own sort of metaphysical realm that magic stems from. Even when humans go there, they begin to lose their memories, retaining their physical bodies, but their identities fading to nothing. If the multiverse is a physical realm, then this realm of magic is one of non-existence, of raw energy that magic and other forces flow from into the world of creation. The destruction of magic is very much the destruction of the magical beings' current identities, but they would return to something of a truer form than they were in the physical realm, becoming the forces of nature and non-existence that they were meant to be before being pulled out of the realm of magic to influence the physical worlds directly. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and while you're down there, check out the pinned comment for a link to our Streamly shop, where you can purchase autograph printed artwork from your favorite cast members or even the creator of the show. Don't forget to join us on Wednesday the 21st at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we interview them live right here on the channel. See you guys there.